Okay, honey.
We got a creaking floorboard right by our door, and our son is right next. And if it creaks, if it's in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
he'll wake up, and it's over with at that point. So I like take a big old step trying to
So
avoid it.
you got a spider walking to keep
I
your
know.
weight evenly distributed.
Oh man, talking about kids. What do you? So I say if you have kids, you love them,
hmm
but you also hate them. I hate my kids sometimes, and not
I
in like in a mean way, but
it's interesting. I have two, and one is like me now, and one is like me when I was their age. And I'm like, I understand why my mom said, "I'm glad there's only one of you." My mom used to be like, "I'm so glad there's just one of you, because if there were two, one of y'all wouldn't have made it this far." Thanks, Mom. I appreciate that.
well, I got
I'm sure I won't remember this when I grow up.
oh man, I got two. One of them is about to turn 20, and the other one is 8. And growing up, my daughter was absolutely lovely, and she still is absolutely lovely. Uh, just overall a great person.
hmm
And again, she still is. And then my son is fantastic. He's just way, way different.
hmm
But I can tell you this: if I would have had my son 1st,
hmm
my daughter would have never been born.
So I only wanted boys, and then now I've got two girls, and I'm like, I can't imagine having a boy. I'm like, what a tiny little terror. Because I've got a nephew that comes over all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm just, and obviously he would be different, if I raised him in our home and stuff like that. But I'm just like, I couldn't do it. I've got these two sweet little babies, and then, this little hellion comes over, and I'm like, just go sit in the corner. Like, you hadn't done anything, but I'm not going to let you either. Just go sit in the corner, and we'll pick you up in 4 or 5 hours.
Oh shoot! No,
Uh,
it's totally different. Well, every family and
mhm.
every kid is different too. But uh, yeah, with my son, and again, he's a great kid. I'm very proud of him and stuff like that. But he's always, so when you say somebody's always on,
Mhm.
he's not, as soon as he wakes up until like bedtime, it's always go
Mhm.
go go go, and he does not stop. And it's like when you say where do these people get this energy from and stuff like that, and
It's the mitochondria. It's the powerhouse of the cell.
yeah, he has, yeah,
He's full of mitochondria.
it's all over. I mean, he bathed in that stuff, and it's kind of refreshing because you don't want to have a kid just sitting down and
Mhm.
moping all the time and all of that stuff, and he doesn't do that stuff. But like we'll go out. I said it's 10 o'clock, right?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So yesterday we went out, right? We had two of his friends there. We went to the park, stayed there for 2 hours, played
Mhm.
football. He played football and soccer the whole entire time, right? You think he'd be a little bit tired. No. Then he wants
That's
to
the
go over
warm
his
up.
friend's house. Once we come back, he goes over to his friend's house, right? Comes back for a second, asks if he can go to another friend's house. And they're on the trampoline. They're playing football again. And then he's back at the house about 5, 6 o'clock, right? And then we're eating dinner, and then he's mad because we won't play with him. Like,
I'm
yo,
I'm tired from the first football game 7 hours
I
ago.
know. And he's like, like, you literally just played for a school day nonstop. Like, how do you can't be mad at somebody.
So my youngest, is like me now, where if it's a rainy day, she is perfectly content to sit on the couch and watch Netflix and just sit under a blanket and stay warm and cozy.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is my dream right there. And then my oldest one, she's just started mellowing out the past year or two, but before that, it was like, hey, do you want to paint rocks? I'm like, okay. Well, let me get the paintbrushes out and the paint real quick. And before I can even get that out, she's like, let's do jumping jacks in the yard. I'm like, okay, well, do you want to do jumping jacks or paint rocks? No. Let's write letters to our best friends. Wait a minute. No. Let's do this. Can we tie-dye shirts? I'm like, just pick a one thing and
Yeah.
we'll do the one thing. Like, you can't even start it before she's already got 9 other ideas. And I'm like, calm down. Like, it's okay. We got all these days. We can do
Yeah.
all of it,
I can't
Just one
imagine.
at a time, please.
can't imagine summers when they don't go to school and get entertained there.
Well, now she's a too cool middle schooler,
Oh,
and so
okay.
she's very much just hanging out with
Oh.
my friends and like texting. She said, Papa, I need to get a new phone. I said, why? She goes, I have 273 messages that it won't deliver because I've got an old phone. I said, first off, that's too many messages. And she's like, well, it's over 10 minutes. They weren't all at once. I'm like, that's still too many messages. And she's like, that's just people that love me and want to talk to me. I'm like, that's great. They could save all that up for when you see them at school tomorrow. Like,
Golly, that's insane.
she is forever on that thing.
Really?
Which
You worry about that? Somebody sending her wrong?
Well, we talk to her all the time about it, growing up. And, we're very open about all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, like, hey, look, there's a bunch of weirdos out there. Even just playing, Roblox.
Yeah.
My youngest was like, oh, somebody gave me this skin. And, like, automatically I'm like, and what did they ask for in return? Nothing. They just like playing with me. I'm like, you didn't tell them your name, did you? No. I was like, what's your screen name on there? And she's like, I used a fake name. I'm like, that's my girl. I'm
Yeah.
like, don't be bought by a little sword in Roblox, please. Don't make me go on a documentary and be like, Roblox was the downfall of this family.
So that's why we don't let Anthony play Fortnite. I played Fortnite when it first came out, and then all these people got on there, and it was just too much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kayla plays Fortnite. She's older. I mean, she's 20, so I can't really. She doesn't even live here. So
She's got a good head on her shoulders
Yeah.
by 20.
hopefully. So I don't know. I see all these stories and stuff, and I shouldn't punish. But he doesn't really need to be on there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the wild thing is to think about, what we had when we were kids and where we are now. What they have when they're kids, what will they have when they're our
Oh
age?
yeah.
Like, I was trying to tell them, I was like, I had a beeper when I was in
See, I didn't even have a beeper.
high school, or maybe it was late middle school. I had a beeper, and they're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Okay, well, you could only send numbers to this little device," and they're like, "What good did that do?" I'm like, "Okay, so here we had to bust out this Enigma code." I was like, "So what you had to do was you had to know what letters were on the keypad of the phone. So if somebody sent you, 974216." You had to sit there and map out, okay, it could be these letters. And then you had to find the words, and
Yeah.
hopefully you got the right words to know their meaning. That sounds like a lot of work. I'm like, that was our text messaging.
Yeah.
That's what we did. That was the peak of communication back then. You text your girlfriend.
And you can't even do it fast because he's like
No, no.
666 33. You know what I'm saying?
There were
to
like-
get one letter in there.
There were a couple of codes, like you do 143 for I love you and stuff like that. But everything else you had to spell out one
Yeah.
letter at a time. And, you'd send 4 or 5, beeper messages at
And
a
it
time.
costs money.
It did.
Per text.
It was like, I think at the beginning it was 10 cent a text or something like
I
that.
don't even remember.
I remember the first car phone I ever saw, had the little leather pouch. My cousin had one underneath the seat of his car, and he was showing me. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to call my best friend. He's like, whoa, that's $2 a minute. You ain't calling him from this phone. This is emergencies only. I was like, understood, $2 a minute. You got to work half an hour for that.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
Jeez.
Yeah,
And then,
it's
to
different.
think of just where it's gone from there to here.
Oh, yeah.
How crazy technology is in cell phones, and now text messages, if they're not free, I mean, there would a company that would be in business if they tried charging for text messages now.
Yeah, no, not nowadays. When you see that little video where the girl, I guess the dad told the girl that Chuck E. Cheese is closed, and she's got to be like 3 years old, and she has a phone and goes, "It's open." Like, what are you doing on the phone? Why are you spot checking me? You know what I'm saying? It says it's open. Chuck E. Cheese is open.
I wonder how many times as a kid, the parents
what
were
the
like, they're closed on Thursdays. Who is? All the stores. It's a holiday. What? I went to school, Mama. It's a commercial holiday.
I don't know if mine ever did that, but I didn't never like going to the stores.
I absolutely. Well, I hate wandering stores.
Uh-huh.
I will absolutely, if I've got a list things I want to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. let's go in, let's get what we need, let's get out. Very surgical,
I can do
precise.
that. I can do that.
I mean, I'm like a SEAL team member. I'm like, let's move. It's on aisle 7. Get it. Let's go.
Go.
You got 2 minutes, people. Wrap it up.
See, I don't mind that. I wouldn't mind that. But what happens with me when I go, my mom's the worst, to be honest with you. I'm sorry that I'm hating right now, but she'll go, hey, can you go to Lidl with me? I got to get something. Coffee. I got to get coffee.
So,
I'm
what's
like,
the thing? Go ahead and name it real quick.
Okay. All right, we'll go to get coffee. And then she goes, I got to get gas. And I want to stop by Walmart. No, that was not part of the abort.
That's not what I signed up for. I signed up for a 30-minute trip.
It sounded too good to be true. Lidl and coffee and back home.
Now you're on the hook for a 3-hour. Half your day's gone.
Oh man, and then the same thing with my wife, which she's not that bad, but we'll go there. But we're like starting to go up and down the aisles. Be like, no, there's nothing that we said we needed on this aisle. You know. So I like to just again, like you, just
even if it's like clothes shopping, I'll walk to the clothes.
I don't
I'm
do
like,
that.
This. I'll go try them on, put 2 back. I get this one. Let's go. Let's get out of here. And like I'll go with the girls or something, and they're like, this is nice, but I don't know. Well, I like this material. What do you think? I don't care. Just get it. If you like it, just get it. Let's go. Like, I want to go back to my home base. I'm old. I just want to go sit on my couch. I like my things.
Clothes shopping. I think I don't try them on there. You're lucky if I try them on at home. It's just when I need them, I put them on, and hopefully they fit. Otherwise than that, I just have extra clothing I don't put on.
I swear sometimes they switch clothes out at the register. Like I'll try them on at the store. I'm like, these pants fit pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then I'll take them home, and like 2 days later, I'll go to put them on for the first time. I'm like, why won't they button? What's happening here? I swear these fit just 2 days ago.
I never had that problem before, but
Just laying on the bed.
Anthony, can you please try on those pants to see if I have to return them? You have to return them. You didn't try them on? Yeah, you have to return them, though.
I can tell. We can tell these things.
Like, I don't like doing a little show and be like, or I'll try them on when nobody is there so they'll leave me alone, right? So, can you try those pants on? I already tried them on. Can I see them? They
No.
fit. That's all you have to know. You'll see me when I have them on and ready to go somewhere, okay?
Well, it feels like you're a kid again. Like, your mom telling you to come out of the dressing room. Now turn around. Well, those do look like they could be a little bit bigger so you can grow into them. It's like, stop. Stop fussing over me.
Oh man, yeah. As long as they're not too tight, or if they're not, I guess too tight, too baggy, too short, that'd make it work. You know.
As long as they just fit functionally on me, I'm pretty okay with just about anything. And my wife's like, turn around. How does it make your butt look? I'm like, I don't care. I
ain't gonna see it.
I don't see it.
Do you want people to know it?
Or sometimes I'll ask her. I'm like, hey, do you like this shirt? And she's like, what's it matter if I like it? I'm like, you have to look at it, not me. Like, once I put it on, I couldn't tell you what I'm wearing an hour later. I would have to look down and check.
Yeah.
I'm like, so you have to look at this thing. So you tell me, which one do you want me to wear today? A or B?
I wear the same clothes all the time. I think they're like, I don't know, I got a closet full of clothes, but there's only, I think I have some clothes in there for years. I never even tried on. Oh, I've not had on once. I always wear the same thing.
Do you remember I sent you a text message like, I don't know, I guess a year ago maybe? Yeah, I think it was about a year ago, right before we moved into the house. And I said, how many shirts do you own that aren't work shirts? And you were like, 5. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I do remember that.
My wife was like, of every person I've ever known, you have the most clothes that you never wear. I'm like, what do you mean? I wear all of this. She goes, I've seen probably 9 shirts that you've worn in the 8 years we've been together. You wear the same ones. And I realize it's because as I do the laundry, I put them in, and then as I take them out, I just start on the same spot of the drawer, so I never make it past there. And she goes, you have probably 45 T-shirts in your drawers. I have seen 8 of them.
I have the same sweatpants that I had in high school. I still have those.
I had
And my
my
family makes fun of me. I have a picture when Michaela is on top of my stomach, and she's like less than a year old.
Mhm.
And I wore them the other day. It felt so comfortable.
I had eventually had to get rid of them through damage. They had gotten ripped up.
Oh, no.
But I had my high school gym shorts too. They were silver from Lakeside.
Yeah.
With the maroon stripe. I mean, they were so comfy. They were fine. There was nothing wrong with them. They had a little bit of paint on them, but ain't nothing wrong with that.
Those are clothes like that are the most comfortable. My wife keeps on wanting to throw away my jeans because they're like stretched out by my thigh. And not that they're tight or anything like that. I think they're just worn out and stuff like that. She keeps on wanting to throw them away. But I'm like, nah, they're still functional. They do what they need to do. I ain't trying to look sexy out there. Or do you want me to? You know? So it's like,
That's one of our big things. I'll have like a tiny little hole in a shirt, and she's like, "Trash, get rid of it." I'm like, "You can't even see it." She's like, "I see it every time you wear it. Get rid of it." I'm like, "Okay, all right."
shoot. I don't know. I think the socks go quick. Socks and underwear. I mean, they don't last for nothing. They holes all the time. But especially, okay, so, you work in F&B, so you walk around all the time, So socks and shoes, too.
I can't tell you how many times I would take
man.
my shoes off, and there'd be one little toe poking out.
Oh,
and she
that's
goes,
the worst.
"Garbage, get rid of it." And I'm like, "But then I only have one sock instead of two. Don't care, get rid of it."
I buy the same socks.
I tried that. So for like a couple of years, I only bought the same bag of like black no-show socks.
Yeah.
And I was like, I won't have to match up any socks. It'll be perfect.
But their size different.
And then, well, now like randomly, I got gifted those design socks with different pictures and stuff on them.
Okay, yeah.
And that you have to match up. And I was like, I'm never gonna wear those. Well, now I think I have a pair and a half of black socks, and that's all. And all my other socks are the design ones now.
Wow.
And now, as soon as the dog gets a hold of it, and she only chews it's my dog Pepper. She will only chew out the toes of my socks, and now they're designed so you can't mix match those.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
Well, I guess you could. Just quirky Will.
I've got enough quirks going on. I don't need to add mismatched clothing to it as well.
That's just Will.
When you say it like that, it's like the beginning of like an episodic theme song. That's just Will.
Oh man, no.
He's lovable, affable Will.
So, I couldn't even. If you were to do that, I wouldn't think twice about it. It's you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but I do like wearing this. I just have a bunch of black socks now, and if they're even, I don't like mismatching them if they're different sizes. So I try to get the same thing because I don't like wearing a long sock and then a shorter sock.
Oh Lord, no. That's a serial killer energy right there.
And then a lot of long socks, because I think I got pretty big legs, so they stretch out, so they go down really fast, you know?
My calves are the same. I have huge calves. I've always just had large calves.
Yeah.
And like you try to pull them up and they do this
exactly.
at the top, and the next thing you know, this is all loosey-goosey, and then they're just halfway between ankle and calf, and you're like, what is this weird?
It's the worst. It's like wet socks. Walking around with wet socks. That's what that feels like.
I accidentally bought a 3/4 length sleeve one time on a shirt. I didn't realize it when I bought it. And so I put it on, and it just stopped here. And I was like, what is this? Like, I wore it the one time, and I was like, never again. What is this abomination?
I didn't know they had shirts like that. But I do have long arms, so a lot of times I automatically know if I have long sleeves, I automatically go to my elbow.
Well, see, that's weird. I can do that I don't mind doing that with a full length sleeve tee, but just to start out 3/4, it just felt weird.
Yeah, just in between.
And because it didn't so when you pull it up, it's tight around here. This was just loose like a regular sleeve that just ended. It was so weird.
I don't think I could do that.
I think it might actually have been a girl shirt. I don't know. I've seen them with 3/4 length. They're a mythical creature. I've seen them. I saw a girl one time and she had a 3/4 length sleeve. It must be it.
Don't be lying to us. You never saw that. Oh shoot. What What, I told you we were going to talk about topics. I don't think we talked about any of the topics
A
that
single one.
that I don't even remember. I got it on my phone. Do you remember anything?
I remember a couple of them. You would
I don't even know what this is.
let's see. Who's the most famous person you've ever met?
Ooh. You asking me, or are you just saying the topic?
Both.
Most famous person. I haven't met that many, but I met Emma Smith, Tiger Woods. Gosh darn it, I met Ron White.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was interesting. I forgot his name. He's a really good UFC fighter. He's short. I stood next to him. I didn't know what to think.
I could take that guy. That's what you think. Just a big bear hug and he's gone.
Who else?
Just walk at him like Zangief with the arms outstretched. You ain't getting away from me, little man.
He was quite little. I think he's probably like Anthony's size.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He was, and you wouldn't think because
Yeah.
he's fighting somebody else his
The
size.
same size.
You know, little. I don't want to say midgets, but I guess to me it's you can't even say midgets.
No.
Oh, that's another thing we need, like cancel culture. That's what we need to talk about too, man. That's a whole nother. So I think that's. Oh, I met the whole Mariners team. That was King Griffey Jr. He's a fantastic guy. I think out of all of those, I would say my favorite would be Emmitt Smith and King Griffey Jr. They were just generally amazing people. Nice, super nice.
I tell my wife this all the time. I could meet famous people and never know it because I'm so bad with faces. There are like 3 celebrities I would recognize on the street.
Yeah, The Rock.
Yeah, I would definitely recognize The Rock. He just has a very distinctive face.
I made a comedian at the work. Sorry, go ahead.
And the only other 2 that I know of that were specifically called out that this is a celebrity you were going to meet. I was working at Best Buy when I think it was the PGA, one of the games that it was the first one to have the Masters in it as a playable level. And Bubba Watson and Ricky Fowler came.
Okay.
This was before they won the Masters, like the year before Ricky Fowler won the Masters, I believe. And they had a big signing, like a press event where they had like a signing booth.
That's
and
cool.
They brought him in the back and they, let all the employees meet him and shake their hands. And I'm like, I don't know any of these people.
I wouldn't know what they look like. And I think I have a golf ball signed by him actually, but I wouldn't know.
Just imagine 2 high schoolers in the like 2005 era, and that's exactly what they look like. So, like when they would, when the guys would get out of the shower and immediately put a hat on,
Yeah.
so their hair would like curl out like that.
Yeah.
It was that, and I was like, these guys are like 4 years older than me, and they're making how much money?
Oh yeah, it's sad sometimes. And I forgot his name, but that baseball player that just signed on for the next couple of years and got like $400 million. Stuff like that is depressing.
Yes, but at the same time, like, what do you think that does to a person? Like, imagine Taylor Swift, who has never known failure, to at such a young age only have successes. I mean, just number one hit after number one hit. Let's say she stops today and never makes another thing, and through whatever circumstance, her lawyers or family or whatever, her money is gone, or taxes. That's more likely the government taking taxes. Like, what do? You are not not capable. You're not like trained to live in a society where you don't have all of that. So like the people that get signed, right out of college or something, and they're like, here's $5 million. I'm like,
well, now in college, like football college, they can get sponsorships and stuff like that. So some of them in college are making multi-million already.
That's crazy. I mean, like, good for them. I mean, no hate.
Yeah.
I mean, get that money while you can. That's a very narrow window you have to earn that.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, okay, you can't just go pick up a 9-to-5 job after that. I mean, like, after you've made that much money for, the formative years of, your working life or your social life or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, are you just going to pick up a $12 an hour job somewhere? Just working a menial job? Can you do that? Will your ego let you?
That would, I would think that would be the biggest thing. But in the end, I mean, they're in the same position. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like I met people at jobs and stuff like, oh, I did this and I did this, and then we're like, well, okay, that's great, but right now you're working for me,
Yeah.
and I ain't done none of the stuff. But again, you still answering to me, so it doesn't. All of that stuff doesn't really matter at that point.
I mean, just imagine like you're 20 years from now or 30 years from now, like you go to Cracker Barrel and Taylor Swift like walks up and like, can I take your order? Like,
That'd be insane.
that'd be
wouldn't it?
crazy. Like,
Well, she got in trouble because she did that whole thing. I think at Walmart,
oh yeah.
and then people were like, you're just kind of making fun of people that have regular jobs and stuff like that.
But I wonder how many celebrities I've met, and because I was, working at Hooters and right next to the Masters, where
Yes.
celebrities love to come in. How many walked right by me? Did I walk up to the table? Hey, everything good, guys? I really like that guy. He just treated me like a normal guy. Yeah, I don't know you, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I would recognize like Morgan Freeman, The Rock, and
There's some people that just.
maybe Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if he
I
just
don't
wearing
think you.
like
Would, I don't think you would recognize. If nobody said anything, I don't think you would recognize Ryan Reynolds at Masters Week at Hooters.
if I heard him talk, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Because he has a very distinctive speaking style.
Right.
But if he was wearing just like real schlubby clothes, like hoodie and sweatpants, I'd
Yeah.
be like, "Hey, guy,"
There was last year. I don't even know who it is. Not Gilmore Girls. What's the other one that everybody was so? Maybe it was Gilmore Girls. No, I forgot. Well, one of those shows everybody is all obsessed about and stuff like that. And then he came and the bartender was like, "Oh my God, Anthony, I think this is so and so." And I go, "Okay, well, just stay cool. He's just a person, yada yada yada." And then she's like, "Yeah, you're right. So the day goes on, and then he leaves, and she goes, "Oh my God, I think it is." And I go, "I think it is too." Oh my God. Like, I mean, it is cool to meet somebody who has some kind of success, and especially if they're a positive person, I think it's absolutely amazing. But to like really freak out, it is still just human, you know. It's the same thing with like, I feel like with bosses, some people freak out when the higher ups or like corporate whatever comes in there. Let me tell you, none of them are gonna fight me. I mean, they can fire me, but you can get another job. If it might not be right then and there, but you can get another job. And what are you gonna? Ain't nobody gonna yell at me. First of all,
Yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna fight me. So the worst thing you can do is literally fire me. And that's not at the end of the world. Now, I do gotta say, I don't like hearing at people's mouths. Mouths. So I try to do stuff ahead and catch it before they will say something. So do I act a little bit different? Yes, absolutely. I just don't like people telling me what to do multiple times. I got a wife, she does that enough. I'm good. And I don't mind her doing it, because if she didn't, then
You signed up for that.
Yeah, I signed. Well, I guess you signed up for that for work too, but
That's true.
yeah. So like, people are always like, yada yada yada. No, they're just people too, And I think I have a hair right there. I don't know what happened to it, but yeah, I don't know. But you know how it is. Corporate comes and
Everybody starts losing their mind.
yeah.
I started this job I'm at now, and the corporate guy came up, and I was just laughing and joking around with him, and he's a very dry, older
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Very sarcastic, and so I would just do it right back at him. And my boss was like, "I've never seen anybody talk to him like that." I'm like, "It's just being me."
Yeah.
He seems like a nice fella, I guess.
There was a John Jefferson. No, Jeffrey Jones. Jeffrey Jones for Chili's. He came in. I didn't know who he was. My GM was sitting down talking to him, and I thought it was just like a regular guy. And I just slide into that booth like all cool, like, "Psh, yo, what's going on?" You know what I'm saying? And then later on, I found out who he was. He was actually like the highest supervisor for all the Chili's, yada. Not the president, but but he really liked me, and it was cool working for him too.
I was at a meeting in Atlanta earlier this year, and all the corporate people were there, and my regional came up to me, and that I got invited to like a special roundtable. Tell us what's going on at your store. But I'm like, okay,
That's
but
dangerous.
I'm like, but you don't really want to
Right,
know
no.
because you put a name tag in front of me and you tell them where I'm from. I'm not gonna say anything. It's gonna be things are great, sir. Love it.
That is super
If anything,
dangerous.
you give us too many hours. And so I'm expecting it just to be a bunch of like, yes sir, everything's so great, not going to say anything to embarrass the company or myself. And anyway, we get out and my regional's like, all right, what they talk about? And I'd say, okay, well we talked about this. Well, who said that? Hopkins, I'm really bad with faces. It's that guy with the fluffy hair over there, the pudgy one. You talking about our vice president of the company? I guess. Have you not met him before? Oh, no, I've met him like 5 times. Like, I've shaken his hand 3 or 4 times. I just can't remember his name. I said, and then there's that Hawaiian guy. Hawaiian guy? There's no Hawaiian guy anywhere in this conference. I'm like, that guy right there. Okay, first he's just tan. I'll let him know. I was like, please don't. You don't have to mention my name at all. If he knows my name, I've messed up. Like he was like the culinary president of the Longhorn branch. I was like, he doesn't need to know me. Not until I'm your level or higher does he need to know my name.
Oh,
I will just be faceless employee number 17.
the Hawaiian guy. That's awesome. I was kitchen manager, and they were rolling out some new stuff, and they had new position, a new area, kitchen manager, yada yada yada. And then he was saying, "Oh, we need to do this." And I go, "Nah, I don't think that's a good idea." You know, that man never talked to me again. He goes, okay, and then kind of walked off. He never said a word to me after.
He walked away.
It was just a
muttering.
bad idea. Why? You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you want honest feedback instead of everybody saying yes, 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 and it's a bad idea, and then all of a sudden, well, what happened?
Who approved this?
Yeah,
Like,
no.
what's happening here?
That's and a lot of times, and I can probably believe with teachers also, but once you're out the field and start doing other stuff, what actuality and it kind of shifts. You know, you have great idea. It might be a great idea or a great thought, but is it
Practical in the real world?
Yeah.
You oftentimes no.
No, it's not, you know. So I think it's sometimes you got to kind of think about it or ask people that are actually doing it what they think, and then kind of go from there, not just make assumption, oh, this is... Because I'm pretty sure after like 10 years of not being in the grind of doing something, your viewpoint is totally different.
Oh, yeah, things seem like a great idea. Like, what if we have them write this report up every day and send it to us so we'll be able to manage all this better?
Yeah.
And all you're thinking of is, great, one more thing I have to do. I'm just gonna make up a bunch of numbers anyway because you want me to write down these every hour. I have to go and report this. Oh no, I'm just gonna at the end of the night fax it off and be done.
It's true. If it becomes too much of a hassle and takes away from your common goal and common or the work that you really have to do, it just becomes. You don't care that much. You just want to get it done because it has to get done.
Because you'll get in trouble if it doesn't.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So just do enough to not get in trouble.
Yep.
the story of every job I've ever had.
My last 2 weeks at work, by the way. I don't want to do anything extra. I just don't want to be in trouble.
Just enough to come in tomorrow.
Right.
It's like my work anxiety. Every time somebody will there'll be 2 managers scheduled. Automatically, I'm like, somebody's getting fired. Oh God, is it me? Like, what did I do wrong?
How many people y'all got?
We've got 4 managers.
Okay.
Every once in a while, like every couple of months or something like that, there'll be like 2 closers scheduled. I'm like, oh God, one of us is getting fired on the 13th.
It's coming.
Message them ahead of time. Does someone need to stay home? We don't need 2 closers, right?
That's funny. That's like one of the other ones too. Same thing happens every now and then, and they're like, "Do I need to be there?" Yes, you do.
Somebody was like, they were like, "You ever get nervous when Hopkins comes?" I'm like, "I get nervous when our regional comes, like right at shift change,
Oh.
because then I'm like, now there won't be any gap. I mean, if he comes first thing in the morning and it's just me and him, he's not going to fire me.
Right.
He's not going to run that place by himself. If he comes in right with somebody else, though, he can be like, all right, we'll head on out. Yes, sir.
My manager got fired at the Evans Chili's. And I didn't know about it. The back door bell rang, and he was standing on the other side. So I opened the door, and I'm like, why didn't you just walk in? You know? And it's like, I need you to get my keys from there in the office. And, like, it doesn't click with me. I'm like, just walk in the office and get your dang
Get your
keys,
keys.
you know, self. And then the area director was there, too. And I thought, you know, they were just...
Talking.
Yeah, that was just, you know, regular stuff. So I walk in the office and I saw those two keys separate.
Uh-oh.
And it goes, hey, he wants his keys. And as soon as I say that, I'm like, oh, snap. But that's not the big... He was kind of a douchebag, so I get him getting fired. But the problem I had is it was a Friday night. There's no mid, and I was the opener.
You don't fire. No, you don't do that.
Guess who stayed?
I had
Shoot.
I was working at GameStop, and I get a phone call on like a Thursday, and it's my regional manager. And he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna fire the store manager. You can't say anything, or I'm gonna fire you too. I'm heading up there now. Can you come up there in about an hour and just take over?" He's not working there today. Why not? He changed the schedule. Well, there's another reason. When does he work next? Sunday. It's not like I had to sit on this information all weekend long. And then, of course, he opened up on Sunday, and then I came in at like, I think it was like 11 or 12 or something like
Yeah.
that. And then like the regional guy didn't come in till like 4. So I just had to sit there with the knowledge working with this man for so long. And then he came in, and I'm like super awkward. Like I would just
Why is he here?
filing this away, just like wiping the empty cabinet, like, a little bit more of this. And he's like, Will, do you mind watching the front? We need to go have a meeting in the back. Sure, about what? And like 10 minutes later, he comes out, and he's like, I need to cancel all my pre-orders and get all my money back. You got it.
No.
Why? Like, he's like, how long have you known? Decline to answer.
Oh,
my
that's
gosh.
got to feel horrible.
And then he came back up there like 2 hours later, back up to work, and he had a 44-gallon trash bag filled with papers. And when I was saying, I mean, he looked like Santa Claus. There was so many papers in it. And I'm like, what are those? And he goes, this is all the work crap I had at my house. It's your problem now. And just left a 44-gallon trash bag slap full. And they were just printed off emails, random, bits of numbers and stuff that we needed. And I'm like,
I would let that stuff on fire. We starting
Cool.
over new.
well, I started going through, and I would find, because it was at a GameStop, and they would send you codes for games and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like going through to make sure there's nothing important. And I'd come across an email with like an activation code for a game, and I'm like, I mean, he sent them back up here. He's had them for weeks. I'm sure he's already redeemed them. He had not. And then he was like, he called up there, and he was like, hey, did you use my code for so-and-so? Yeah. Yes, I did. He's like, all right, so you owe me that money? I'm like,
No, dog.
no. I'm like, it says to the store manager, you are not the store manager. I was like, you had it for weeks. I thought, obviously, that you had done this already. I really just put it in just to verify. And then it went through, and I was surprised. And also, you brought him back up here, so I just assumed
Yeah.
you were kind of done with it all. He never talked to me again.
Oh.
Never spoke a word. We had, like, weekly Magic games we'd all go over on Sunday nights. Never again. I lost all that play group of friends.
No.
It's like,
Well, why did you lose them?
because they just went with him, because he was like
the main.
he was the older guy. It was at his house.
Oh,
and,
okay. Oh, yeah. You definitely outcasted on that
Oh
one.
yeah, for sure. That was a tough loss, I tell you.
GameStop. I remember you working there. You always have like all this GameStop stuff.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
All the statues and
Yeah.
all kind of fun stuff. Oh yeah. As bad as I was at collecting that, that manager was 10 times worse,
Really?
and that is no exaggeration. Every single thing that came out, he's like, they got a collector's edition. Go ahead and let's pay that off. Let's put that down. Every single collector's edition, he got one.
Oh wow.
And you go to his their like living room. Him and another guy lived together, and it was it was a living room about as big as this, and it was just floor to ceiling of nothing but statues, collector consoles.
Wow.
I mean, he had like 5 Xbox Ones and all that kind of stuff because they were every edition of it. Yeah, I gotta have one of those. Oh, it comes with an exclusive so and so.
You gotta pay for it?
Yeah. He's like, give me one of those.
That's like your salary though.
Yeah, we did not get paid a lot there. So the interesting thing is, like, I don't know if you've ever noticed it in your life. The wife and I noticed, when we met, I was working at, I was at a call center downtown that did corporate stuff, and I got paid like, I think $9 or $10 an hour. It wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we're making ends meet. And then I got this job at GameStop, and I was like, oh man, I'm getting, I think, $33,000 a year. I was like, oh wow, what a step up. And I'm like, okay, we're making ends meet. And then like, have you noticed in your life that every time you get paid more, you inflate all your costs to go along
absolutely.
with it? And I'm like, we were looking at it, and I was like, I'm making twice as much as when we met, and we are still just head above what's going on here? Like, did someone tell the power company I get paid more? They just start charging more? I don't understand. Like,
No,
what's happening?
I totally get it. I got paid more and I bought myself a Challenger, and now I'm like, oh well, I didn't foresee me not working. So I mean, it's all right. We're all right. We got to figure something out sooner rather than later. And we just had to get Alyssa's car fixed. That was the engine. So it was like $7,000. So yeah, that's fun,
In life, man, it happens.
Yeah, and then also every time you say something up, something happens, and it's like, boom, like detrimental.
Oh
like,
yeah, for sure.
Like it doesn't make sense how much stuff costs.
It does not. Absolutely it doesn't.
And right before we got the engine done, right, we bought 2 new tires. So we got the new tires, right, and then like a couple of days later, the engine blew. So we're like, if we don't get the car back, can we also get the tires or can you buy them back? Because they've hardly been used, And I think it was like over the weekend, so we really just used it one day of driving. Practically brand new tires, But we ended up deciding to go ahead and get it fixed, and hopefully now nothing has to get fixed or anything. Maybe for 2 more years, and my car will be paid off for, and then we get another one.
Okay.
I think that's the plan.
You gonna get you an updated car?
Not me, her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll.
She gonna get her one matching?
Oh, that'd be sexy. No, I think she's gonna try to get an SUV.
I had some cousins, Jalen and Kale, and you could not find 2 more opposite people that came out of the same uterus. I mean, one was he was a 4-3 black belt.
Twins?
No, well, I don't. They're not look-alike twins. I know that.
Oh.
I'm not sure of the birthday situation.
Oh, okay.
But like one of them is just so extroverted. I mean, like he will chat up any girl that walks in front of him. The confidence of 10 men. I mean, he had adrenaline just pumping through his veins at all time. He built this like a Firewatch station next to his trampoline they had, and he would just, let me just do a backflip off of this onto the trampoline, and you're like, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like he'd be like, you think I could jump off the? They had a 2-story house. You think I could jump off the landing onto these couch cushions? No, I don't think so. I'm gonna do it. And like he would do it, and he'd be like, cool. I only broke a leg last summer doing it, but I think I got it now. I'm like, okay, buddy, go for it.
Yeah.
And his brother, just mumbled all the time. Could not talk to a living person outside of his family. Always on the computer, bookworm. Complete opposite. Anyway, they I always say I was born on the wrong side of the family. Their great granduncle or something had made some invention that he sold to the government, and so part of their I guess inheritance.
Yeah.
Every year they got like $20,000 until they turned 18. one year they bought matching Mustangs. Jalen's was red, manual with the convertible top.
Uh-huh.
Kale's was like pastel blue, automatic. I was like, well, y'all couldn't have found more opposite cars either.
That's hilarious.
I was
Oh,
like, that's
man.
cool to have matching cars though.
That is pretty cool. That would be pretty sweet. No, I like Dodges. I think that's my fourth Dodge that I had. But I do kind of want a truck, like a big truck.
Hmm. I don't
It's
know.
convenient.
I was thinking of
Move in,
one of the older
whatever.
trucks, like
F-150, whatever they call it.
like a 150 or even just like
Sorry.
a Ranger, you know.
Oh, okay.
Just like a little work truck. I'm not afraid. I was worried if I got a new truck, I would just be afraid of messing it up, you
Yeah.
know. And that's not. I hate when you see people in their trucks that have never been used, aside from like some groceries in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, there's no scuff marks, there's no ding. Like, you're supposed to put furniture in here or something, you know. I would worry that I would just want it to look too nice and then never use it for what it was supposed to be for.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just give me something already beat up that I don't mind. I could
yeah.
literally just chuck it in the back and not care because
As long
it's
as
already.
it runs
Yeah.
good. Or old Betsy.
Mhm.
All reliable, whatever it's called. Yeah, I don't know. I would want a new truck, but yeah, I'd probably be like, well, let's watch.
Well, the old ones are so much easier to work on. Like, all old cars
Yeah.
are just so easy. I mean, there's so much room in there, and it's like, hey, this is broke. I can easily get it out in 20 minutes. And then one of the car guys at work was talking about he had to replace an alternator, which I've done many times on several different cars.
Oh.
Not hard.
Yeah.
He's like, but on this car, you have to take the wheel off, and then you have to take the CV axle off, or you can take the engine out. I'm like, no.
What?
No. For a $150 piece, no thank you. That's a lot of
That's
work.
Crazy.
That is you have to take it
They
straight
do
to the
that on
shop.
purpose, so
Yeah.
you can't mess with it.
That's right. You got to take it to a shop somewhere and have their mechanics work on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, no thanks. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing with cars. YouTube is my best friend.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've just sat in the driveway staring at it, trying to divine information about how this thing is put together, you know? And my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm watching YouTube videos. And she's like, does that work? I'm like, here's your car and it's showing me exactly what to do. I mean, I've learned so much from that.
I don't know. I'd be afraid. There are a couple of things I would do, but I don't know. I don't want to mess it up even further.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
want to take stuff apart. My hands are soft. I don't like all the scrapes and scrapes.
I was taking something apart on the kitchen table, and she's like, how do you know how it goes back together? I'm like, well, I don't really. I'm confident that I could like figure out how to put
Yeah.
it back together. I mean, it seems pretty logical. You got a screw here holding this piece together, so I need these two pieces together. I'm gonna put a screw in to put it back. And she's like, that is the most white man confidence I have ever heard in my life. She's like, just the audacity that you think you can do that. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, one, I just think I can. It's not like I don't tie it to my identity. I just things need to stick together. I put a screw in it. You know, it's got to have some way to attach.
It's like, what's it? Holiday Inn. I spent the night at Holiday Inn. I can do it.
I was like, but like her mind just does not work that way. And you know, I don't pretend for a minute that I have a mechanical mind. You know, my father and my cousins and all, they'll look at it and be like, oh, yeah, that's your catalytic converter oscillator. And I'm like, I don't know what any of those words are. But I just feel like given enough time, you know, an hour or two, we could look at it and figure out, you know, hey, what's making the noise? That's making a noise. It didn't make that earlier. Let's look at that piece right
I don't
there.
got the patience for that.
I've got the poverty for that. You take it to a shop. That's not in my budget. That's not in my vocabulary. I'm like, they want how much to replace the brakes? $350.
Yeah.
What if I buy the parts for $75 and do it myself? Well, how do you know it's gonna work? It's gonna work or
But
it
see,
don't.
yeah. So everything has to do with time. That's what you really pay for.
That's right.
Right? So I don't have the patience for a lot of stuff. So for me, it is worth more just to pay somebody to do it, to get it done, because I don't have the time or the patience.
I've got the off days. I will schedule some off days.
No, I want all my off days to be off. Because a lot of times also I get, well, not right now, but I get phone calls, emails, text message, and sometimes I'm more tired on my off day because of all of that than me actually being at work.
I had for Christmas this year, I got a shed. Ordered it from Lowe's, and they were like, "You can get somebody to install it." I'm like, "No, that's extra money. I'm like, I'm gonna take 3 days off of work and I'm gonna put it together.
I would do that.
And then they sent the wrong one.
Oh no.
I was so upset. You
You
know,
ever
like
start putting it together?
we had unpacked half of it, and then we noticed that they sent us the wrong one, like completely wrong. Not like it's just a little wrong.
Not an upgrade.
No,
Oh, okay.
it was a definitely downgrade.
Oh, okay.
And so I call them up there, and I'm like, hey, what's the situation? You gave me the wrong one, and they were like, oh, they must have came that way from the factory. And because it's all special order, even though it's literally just the boards that they have in store,
Yeah.
just packaged together. I'm like, why can't you just hand me what I need to make it the difference? Whatever. And he goes, no, they special make it and they send it to us. I'm like, okay. I don't pretend to know your inventory system. I've never worked for Lowe's, but tell me if I got this right. I'm like, so we ordered it from the manufacturer. They made it and then sent it to your warehouse. They received it, and then they shipped it. They put it on a truck and shipped it to your store that got received, and then y'all put it on your flatbed and then brought it out here, and at no point did anyone look to see if the label is what I ordered at all. Well, they put your name on it, so we thought it was yours. I'm like, what inventory system is that? You received one will? I mean, no, you didn't. I don't understand. And he was like, that's just the way it is. Okay. All right. I'm not going to change your company policy. I understand. I will calm down and I will speak to you later. Like,
I'll be waiting.
well, like I'm not, and I never get upset because it is what it is. You know, they're gonna fix it or they're not, and I'm still got to deal with it one way or
What
the
if
other.
they didn't fix it? You still pay for it.
Well, it was a gift. One, they would have. So we paid for the bigger one. You know, they would have gotten it to us, but they were gonna take a month to do it. Which, you know, in the end, I guess it still, you know, ended up. But you know, I went over there and I was like, I had somebody come from 4.5 hours away to help me put this thing together, and now he showed up for an hour and I had to send him back because we got it.
Yeah.
Y'all said it'll be another month before it comes in, so I sent him home. I'm like, so I paid a guy to come do that. I burned 3 vacation days. What's the solution here?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh well, we can't even order it until we pick up the old one. I'm like, okay, when are you gonna do that? Between sunup and sundown tomorrow. I can tell them a priority because you can't even give me a narrower window than visible light. Yeah. If there's light to do it, we'll do it in it. So anyway, the guy comes and picks it up, and then an hour later he calls. He goes, "Hey, I found that shed you ordered." I'm like, "What do you mean you found it?" He's like, "It was just on the other side of the store. We don't normally put them there. That's why nobody saw it." I'm like,
so they gave you the wrong thing on purpose.
I'm
almost.
like, so this is that inventory system I was telling you about. Like, you should have known because you looked it up. The assistant manager looked it up. Somebody should have seen, oh, I have one of these in stock.
Yeah.
That's his, you know? But, like, you just wrote somebody's name on the side. What if there were 2 wills, which apparently there might have been? Because I guess I just got his. I was like, bring the other one back.
Then he didn't get it. He didn't get one.
I don't know. They didn't seem to mention him, or I don't know if there was one, or maybe they double shipped it. Very unclear on all what was happening there, but they eventually they did make it right, so I was very happy about that. It didn't take a month, but now I've just got shed pieces in my driveway waiting on someone to come and show me.
Oh, so this has happened recently. I didn't even know.
Last week.
So has sundown happened yet?
Do you know how to put together a shed?
I put together that one over there.
Okay.
And
you said that, and I looked at I was like, well, it didn't look like it was too hard to put together. The screen.
Four panels. I think I got that one.
What is that? 2 hinges a piece? Nice. That's a 2 hinge job there.
No, there's a plastic one in the backyard.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was not hard to put. It was a pain in the butt, but they also sent us the wrong piece in there, so we had to wait until we got the right piece, or there was a missing piece. I forgot what it was. But.
This is all lumber with like a real roof, so I'm terrified of messing it up
Oh, yeah.
and it looking like you know those like old ramshackle outhouses where like the boards are like curved up and like overlap. That's what I worry it'll look like if I get back there just by myself.
Oh, Lord.
Open it up, it's just a bunch of IKEA instructions with no words on it.
No.
Like,
That's
what do
the
I
worst. And then sometimes they miss a step from picture to picture too.
Well, it's weird.
It's
Like, you're like, what angle are they looking at this from?
Together, apart.
Step 1 in pieces.
Yeah.
Step 2 done. I'm like, that easy.
What screw? What screw is this? Man, I had something where the package. This is not from IKEA. The package of screws weren't labeled correctly. They have like numbers on the information sheet, and then the package of screws and stuff like this were letters. So it's like I had to figure it out. I was like, this looks like.
This is not what I signed up for.
Yeah, it was stuff like that, and I can't do it with Alyssa. I can't put stuff together with Alyssa.
We learned very early in our relationship that my wife and I cannot be put on projects together.
Yeah.
Because we just don't communicate very well step by step.
Yeah.
She'd be like, put tab A into slot B. I'm like, okay. There is no slot B, and there's only a C that I have here. And she's like, I'm telling you, put slot A into tab B. I'm like, that's not a thing. And like 8 seconds into any project, it's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you know what? I will just do this myself, and you do that yourself, and we will come together at the end and put it together.
That's the best. We did a bedroom, bed frame for my daughter, and I locked myself in the room so nobody could come in.
You know, it's not unwarranted. I like I said, you know, I have a lot of confidence for putting things together. It doesn't mean it always translates to ability. I was putting together a entertainment center that we had gotten from IKEA, or either IKEA or Walmart. And next thing you know, I slap that bad boy on top, and I'm like, all done. And she's like, you've put the shelves upside down. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Oh, no.
And she's like, the painted part is supposed to be
No.
pointed up so everybody can see it. I'm like,
Guess we're painting now.
fascinating. I just flipped the whole thing over. I'm like, it now sits upside down.
Did it work?
It worked.
Okay.
It was basically a big square.
Oh, okay. Well, the legs.
Well, it was one of those. It was one of those modern
Oh, okay.
pieces that just kind of was supposed to sit
Yeah.
basically flat.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell if you looked that it was upside down because one part is perfectly flat and the other one has like the little ridges for like to keep stuff from sliding off the
Yeah,
top. That's
yeah.
now the bottom.